Mario Kart World is out, and in Mario Kart World, you can drive around the world, you can pick up a little paper bag that has like food in it, and then you eat the food and you change outfits. But this, of course, implies that there are service industry workers behind the counters making the food and serving it to the drivers. Which begs the question, how exactly would Mario Kart World characters tip? If only we had a service industry worker among us that could help answer this question. Well, guess what? I'm a barista and I can answer this question. So hello, my name is EJ, you are you, this is my channel, and today we're answering the question, how would Mario Kart World characters tip service industry workers that are giving them the food that changes their outfits? As with all discussions, there is, of course, some nuance to this debate, so we will be judging the Mario Kart characters on two axes. The y-axis will be the tip axis. So they tip well, 30% or more, which, by the way, I think is actually kind of an insane amount to tip. If someone like really solved all of my issues, I would tip them that much. But like, I think 20% as a baseline is pretty good. You know, that's pretty, anyways. Or they don't tip, which, boo, you know? By the way, quick aside, this is purely based off of American tipping culture. Anyways, the x-axis will be how good of a customer are they? And that could range from a full-blown Karen or former service industry worker. Now, to be clear, some former service industry workers are actually the worst customers. They're like, well, I know how to do it, so why aren't you doing it? You know? So like, this isn't a hard and fast rule. The minute I wrote it, I was like, this isn't the most accurate. But you know what? We're sticking with it because I didn't want to cut up another piece of paper. So these are the axes. Now let's throw some characters on there. Starting with Birdo. And yes, I hand drew all 50 Mario Kart World characters because my printer is out of ink and I can't afford ink right now. Besides, I think the hand-drawn look is cute. Now, Birdo, I think, is an ally. I think Birdo has probably worked service industry jobs. So automatically she's gonna be like on this side of the equation. The answer is how well does she tip? And I think she doesn't necessarily tip like insanely well, but she tips like the right amount. I think Birdo is probably gonna go there. That seems right. All right, next up we have Parabitty Bud. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. Some of these enemy characters, I don't know who they are. I don't understand them. I don't know what they're about. So I don't know. It looks shy. It probably would not tip super well. We'll put it here. All right, Nabbit, someone I actually do have opinions about because listen, this is a greedy guy, all right? You see him running around with coins all the time. This man does not tip and frankly would probably be a bad customer. So we're gonna put him here. I don't think he'd be the worst customer, but he wouldn't fucking tip and I don't like that. Actually might move him lower. That's right, take that, Nabbit. Dang, Nabbit. Bowser! I mean, ironically, I do think he would be an okay customer. Just because, like, I don't know, he seems like a lovable villain. And, like, frankly, sometimes bad people are really good customers. So, you never know. And I don't know that Bowser's bad. Also, he's kind of hot. I don't think he would tip incredibly well. I don't think he would be a bad customer. I think he would be a slightly good customer. He's going here. All right, Stingbee. I don't know. Penguin. Wario. Listen, Wario would be an awful customer. I like Wario. Awful customer. And also would not tip well. Would not tip well. Okay? So he's going, I think he frankly would be worse than Nabbit. Yikes. So sorry, Wario. Snowman. He would get water all over the floor. You know, I don't think he'd be a bad customer necessarily, but I wouldn't love when he comes in. And I don't know that he would know enough to like compensate for that with a tip. So we're gonna do here. To be clear, I think this middle, I think the zero axis is not tipping 0%. I think that's his tipping like 15%. Like it's just baseline, like acceptable. So this is like 0 to 30, you know, and then this is 15. Anyways, Baby Daisy. Okay, listen, it's a baby. It's a child. Some children are actually, there is this one girl who comes into my coffee shop and I swear to God, she cannot be older than like 12. Maybe 11, she comes in with her giant bag. And at first you think, oh no, a baby tyrant. But no, she orders impeccably well because ordering is a skill, to be clear. She comes in, she gets her hot chocolate, she says, thank you very much, tips well, and leaves. And frankly, that's what Baby Daisy is giving me. Honestly, she might be here. Not saying she's a former service industry worker, just saying she's a good customer, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Anyways, Pokey. Who knows? I think he would make the line really annoying because he would keep moving back and forth and people would be like, where's the line, you know? And I don't think he would tip. Cheap, cheap. It's a fish. Waluigi, who I initially just tried to call Luigi and then remembered his name was Waluigi. Wah! Frankly, this is the character that I look the most like. I think Waluigi, and this is again just because he kind of looks like me. I assume he's nicer than Mario. I don't think he's a great customer still, but I think he would actually tip a little bit. So I'm gonna put him like here. Not a great customer, still in the bad territory, not in the tipping well territory, but he'd like at least do 10%. You know, he's not tipping, which, oh my God. Piranha plant would eat a lot. Would he tip as much as he eats? I don't think so. But the check would be big, so there would still be like a pretty okay tip. But like, oh, a $300 tab and they tip $10 and you're like, 3%? Okay, I mean, it's still $10. Like, I can buy a coffee and a bagel. But like, anyways, probably not a bad customer, so. We are not getting a lot of good customers that don't tip, and they do exist. I think we'll get some later, don't worry. Donkey Kong! I don't think he'd be a good customer. I think he'd be too rowdy. A certain amount of rowdiness is acceptable, but I think the kind of rowdiness that Donkey Kong would bring with him into a eating establishment would not be great. I would try to get him out the door, you know? And I don't know if he would tip well. Oh my God, is he gonna go here? I think he's gonna go here. I think he would still tip. He'd throw a banana, and you're like, great, potassium, but like, what am I gonna tell my landlord, you know? So, there. Baby Luigi, another child. What do we think that Luigi and Mario and what do we think they are thinking when they're on the track and they look over and they see a younger version of themselves? Like, what would you do? I don't know what I would do. I feel like that would give me a fair amount of existential dread. I don't know. Anyways, Baby Luigi, frankly, good customer, wouldn't tip. Keepa. Who the fuck? I'm sorry, I didn't know that this thing existed in the Mario universe until I drew it. It's a ghost. They don't have money. Ugh, he's so goofy. I feel like he would try to make a lot of small talk with me, which like is sometimes fine, but like sometimes it's like, dude, you're pulling teeth. Do you like that? Are you a dentist? Stop. Anyways, Toadette. Another ally. I think Toadette would actually tip too well because she's very eager. And I also think she would be very nice and friendly. She could get a little overbearing. So she might not be the best customer, but you know what? She tips real well. I think I'm gonna put her above Baby Daisy. She tips 30% and you're like, whoa, okay. I mean, okay, you know? Lakitu. I have strong feelings about this. Ally. He's still working. Frankly, him doing the Mario Karting, he's like, wow, I get to do the thing that I always help other people do. It's vacation for him in a way. Yeah, I love Lakitu. Fishbone. It's bones and a fish. I don't fucking know. Fish is here. It's bones, so we'll put it down there. There you go, fine. Dry bone. More skeletons. Dry bones. Okay. You would try to give Dry Bones his like coffee or whatever, and you'd touch him, and he would just fall apart. And you'd be like, sir? Sir? And then he would reconstitute and he'd be like, please take your coffee. An exceptionally neutral customer though. Pauline. Pauline, I think is, I would say, the embodiment of good customer that doesn't tip. There is a customer that comes into my coffee shop and she is so lovely. And like every time I see her, I'm like, hey, how are you? And like we have like a good chat and she never tips. But I gotta say, I do enjoy having her in the store. That's Pauline, baby. Sidestepper. A crab. Crabs have money. But a little bit of an asshole. Daisy. Do you think she got better or worse when she grew up? I think she got better. She's the, you know, when we talk about dismantling the Mushroom Kingdom monarchy, she'd be spared, I think. So and I think she has slightly more money than when she was a baby. So there you go, she tips better. Charge and Chuck. There's like powerful homoeroticism to a Charge and Chuck, but I think it's repressed. I think it's repressed, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know what that has to do with I think he would feel guilt, but also have to perform masculinity. So he'd be a bad customer, but he would tip okay. Baby Peach. I'm sorry, this would be the baby that there's children that also come in and are so fucking demanding and then tip like To be fair, this is their parents' money and their parents are telling them how to tip, but I don't think it's good. So, God damn it. Maybe Peach is only slightly better than Waluigi. Kind of fucked up. Coin copper. Obviously up here, right? Literally, he can't speak without money spilling out. I think he tips well, and because he knows he tips well, he's an asshole. Like, we have the extreme, he's an extreme. He's the kind of person, I was on someone's Patreon the other day. One of them got into a little tiff with the creator. This person was being rude as hell to the creator, and they had the audacity to say, by the way, I'm here because I support and pay for your channel. And I'm like, okay, just because you pay $5 a month to my fucking Patreon does not mean you get to treat me like shit. It didn't happen to me, but like I put myself in the creator's shoes in that instance. So anyways, Cataquack. I don't like these ones. So I think it is funny to me that most of these people are not tipping well and are bad customers, which might be true of most customers. Conkador, who I misspelled. It says Conkdor. Sorry, bud. What are these from? Where did he come from? Because all I know is he is tall, and I'm tall too, and I respect my tall brethren, but like, where? Anyways, I think he'd be nice, but he wouldn't tip. I think he falls into this one. Like, he's kind of a piranha plant. I don't think he would tip that low, though. There we go. Toad, great customer, like in terms of niceness, but oh my God, can you imagine him ordering the screaming? I'm not going to do it because I have neighbors and I want to have a good relationship with them, despite the fact, if you've seen my streams. Anyways, I think he'd tip okay. I think he's like an okay customer, would tip okay. He tips like the right amount, I would say. And Toadette is like, oh my God, why are you only tipping $20? And he's like, babe, we only spend 100. Peach. I don't think you guys are gonna like those. I think she's nice and she doesn't tip a lot. Like, I don't think she's that nice because she rules the kingdom. I don't even know if she would tip. She would tip. There is a thing. You know what no, not her. Never mind. I'll bring it up later. Boo, King Boo. All I know is that if you looked at him, he would disappear. Very difficult to take someone's order like that. So you'd have to go, what's your order, sir? Okay, sir, I need to turn around to type it into the computer. Is that okay? Okay, and he disappears, you know? So kind of mischievous, right? So a little bit of a back, but I think a king. I think he would spread his wealth around. Koopa. I love a Koopa. And I think they would be painfully average. Also, dry bones. You know, dry bones are a dead Koopa, which is so dark. Wiggler. Obviously, Wiggler is a Karen. I think actually Wiggler might be the worst customer because have you seen what happens when you touch that man? Here's what's gonna happen. I work in a very small coffee shop. I sometimes have to ask people to move and sometimes they don't move. And so I have to lightly touch their shoulder and say, hi, sir, sorry, because they have headphones in or whatever. And most people go, oh, sorry. You know, Wiggler would say, why the fuck are you touching me? Bright red, steam coming out the ears, and frankly would not tip. Camera bro. I have to say, construction workers are actually very good customers in general, to me. And they usually tip pretty. Construction pays bank. So I think over here, up there with Bowser, frankly. Goomba, my favorite enemy. I love Goombas. Why doesn't Goomba have any outfits? Is Goomba a good customer? No. And I don't think he tips well either. Well, he doesn't tip the worst. This is getting too full over here. I have very low regard for most of these characters. And no one in the middle here. Those people do exist. Swoop, a bat. For one thing, I'd be like, get out, you know? There was a time a bird flew into the store and a ruckus, an absolute ruckus, let me tell you. But this is a man with, obviously, he can drive, so he's aware, you know? I think he just doesn't tip, though. I think he's like a fine customer. Dolphin. Dolphins are assholes. I think we found our person that is an asshole, but tips average. The dolphin. Dolphins are assholes. Bowser Jr. I think an incredibly well-raised child. I need you guys to know that I just recently watched the like parental controls video. So that is what I am basing most of my judgments of Bowser and Bowser Jr. off of, and not any way that they are in game. I know they try to kill Mario, but like, I don't know, they feel like they have a point. He's Chris Pratt. I don't think he tips as well, but I think he's a good customer. I think he's next to Penguin. Cool. Yoshi. Well, bad, not good. I think Yoshi is like, because there are men that come in with their girlfriends or whatever, and the girlfriend is always super nice, and he is just like quiet and not super nice, but because he's around her, she makes him better, you know? So I think with Birdo, he'd be over here. But I think without Birdo, he's probably over here. But I'm just going to assume that Birdo and him are in a good relationship. So we're going to put him here. Also, there's a blank space there and I want to fill it. Spike! Again, where is this person from? Spike doesn't tip well, but isn't the worst. Baby Rosalina. Bebe Rosalina. European, not from this world, doesn't understand tipping culture, and is exceedingly neutral. Bebe Mario. Mario. I think like here. I'm gonna put him up here, but know that he is supposed to be like right in between Koopa and Penguin, because I think he does the exact bare minimum requested of him and is only slightly nice. I don't think I just don't like main characters for the most part, except for Link. Love Link. I think that might be because he's a twink though. Rosalina. Now this is what I wanted to, there is a famous person, a famous actress who comes to my shop a lot. She is always very reserved and quiet because she doesn't want to attract attention to herself. She always tips well. She is always nice. And frankly, it brightens my day to see her, mainly because I'm like, oh my God, that's you, you know? But I play it very cool. I have never acknowledged that I know who she is. I'm sure she knows that I know who she is. So I think she is gonna go like here. She's been on the planet for long enough to like learn to tip. And also she's just been well-versed at being very exceedingly pleasant. I love Rosalina. Love Rosalina. Cow! I think if you're not a burger joint, probably a very good customer. Would have obvious objections to the whole burger thing. Who can blame them? But you know what? I think cows are kind and cows understand what it means to be at the whim of someone else. I think they're like here. They might even be further. They're further over actually. There we go. Among Daisy, and that's good company. Daisy, Lakitu, Toadette. Wow, all of the characters I like are just up there. I never play as any of them though. Rocky Wrench lives in the sewers. I live in the sewers. I'm a little sewer mole. I don't know. Monty Mole. Oh fuck, are you not a mole? That was so problematic of me. I'm so sorry. I'm a little mole. I live in the ground. Yeah, I don't have a lot of feelings about Monty Mole. Oh God, everyone's so fucking average. Mainly because there's so many enemies that I just do not care about. Shy Guy, an incredibly shy guy. I love a shy guy. In life and in the game, love a shy guy. I used to main Shy Guy on Mario Kart 8. Okay. I think it makes sense. Bianta. A waiter. Understands the business. Doesn't get paid incredibly well, so can't tip that well. What's in here? And those are the people I'm very forgiving. Always. Luigi. I think very good customer and anxiety disorder usually means they tip well. So we're going to put here. Luigi was the second one I drew, and you can tell because the drawing is not that good. Not saying that any of these drawings are very good, but you know. And finally, Mario would not tip as well. Frankly, I think like would tip like a slightly better than his baby version and be about as good as of a customer. I just feel like Mario has a main character syndrome. Do you know how many films I've been in? You know? One, but you know how many games I've been in? I'm making the games. So there we go. Here is the graph. I can't be in frame if you want to see all of it. So, you know, this is what we're going to do. Or actually, maybe, wait. Here it is. Here's the graph. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which character do you think would tip the best and be the best customer? And which do you think would tip the worst and be the worst customer? Do you have major disagreements? I feel like the Mario community is going to come at me because I am not a Mario scholar. I'm just going off vibes, guys. I'm just going off vibes. I'm a vibes guy. You know, what can I say? All right, well, that's my video. Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see more of this shit. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay cute, stay hydrated, stay you, and most importantly, stay tipping at least 20%, guys. At least 20%. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Bye.